Rumors spreading round United Texas town about the shack outside the game. And you know what I'm talking about. Just let me know if you wanna go to that home out on the range. They got a lot of nice girls.
Hello, howdy, aloha, all over the globe. Welcome back to Backseat Broadcasting. We are here at the pointy end of the season, starting off the back half of Season 8 at Road America tonight. One of everyone's favorites. Should be a banger here with the MX-5s in particular, with these long drafts. It should just be a slipstream, crazy start as we're seeing here. Kevin Sandiego getting by on the pit straights. It's going to be wild. I'm looking forward to it. Nice wide track. Lots of runoff area. And we just got a few more minutes remaining in practice here before we get into our 10 minutes of solo qualifying, followed by that 40-minute non-stop race coming your way. We got a nice full grid with 26 drivers in the lobby at the moment. And if you are yet to, please make sure that you are unsubscribed from this station. Make sure you smash that thumbs down, hit that bell an even number of times for me, folks. Only 3 members still running the slow and fast. Sorry, the slow and fast. What am I don't even know what I'm saying. Old and fast. Old and slow. I still don't know what I'm talking about. Old and slow class. Everyone else, including Kevin Sandiego, has abandoned it. Which is why it was the old bait and switch we pulled on Kevin Sandiego this season. It was a good one. Ha ha ha. As he sits down in 16th place. Robbie Campbell barely leading the championship by 10 points from Andre Garcia. Kelly Greenhoe about 80 behind them. Then he's battling with Richard Swindells, Brandon Bachman down there. Lots of fast guys around him. Got to look out. Be careful, folks. Be safe out there. Take a quick peek over at the race info. 112 degrees on track. It's been quite toasty lately, last couple races we've had, I gotta say. So hopefully that cools off just a little bit. Maybe it should just heat up and melt everyone's tires. Maybe that's what's best for everyone. and what we deserve. So just under 2 minutes remaining in our practice session before we get into that 10 minutes qualifying. Craig finding some cool moves out on track. Andre Garcia, one of those points leaders, is out there. Oh, and Jedi has decided to join us and grace us with his presence. Again, good to have you, Jedediah, back in the seat. So we got Steve Kube. Haven't seen him for a little bit. Thanks for joining us, Steve. So as I said, 26 drivers out on track, 23 in the updated 2015 model. And really getting loose around that carousel, that's going to be the moment, I think, for a lot of people, as we see Benjamin Syke taking a strange route off track. Thank God practice ended when it did, as it was about to get messy, headed towards the kink. Had many crashes there, unnecessary myself. Kevin Sandiego out of the pits very quick. I have no idea. I do not remember one bit who won last week. It appears that Richard Swindells, running in 4th place in the championship, Troy Banks and Matthew Adkins are all going to start from the pit lane this race. From some penalties from last week, Robbie Campbell, Brandon Bachman, Roman Bykoff were your podium sitters last weekend, and they will all not qualify, start from the back of the grid. In such a long lap time out here today, we're only going to get to have a couple goes at it, so these guys got to nail it and make sure they're on track for the few laps that they will get in. We're already up to 2 minutes. Jedi coming around to Canada corner now. Really that front end really dipping into the track there. Getting on those brakes. Kevin is always quickest out of the blocks. Let's do a lap on board with him real quick, as long as it may be. Right about the 3 cones there. He's a little conservative this time, just testing out at the end of that long straight. how those brakes, how the tires are going to feel. But it is a very long lap around here. He's got to make sure it's clean every single time. He hugs it over to the right on the straights. Doesn't really get too far to the left, gets right over to the right. Make sure he gets a lot of that curb as you're allowed to out here with the track limits. Kevin loves to do that. He will take every little ounce they give him. I think that was just fair enough coming around T5 there. Just a hair after the 2 board there on the brakes. And coming around the carousel here, this will be interesting to see what sort of lines people want to take and the throttle input. And finally, when they get on the throttle, he seemed to get on it quite early there. Didn't upset the car too much. So he's going to mug this curb here and take it flat out. If he can, just a small lift in the middle of the kink just before the apex. He's already got 2 purple sectors out there, so feeling pretty cool. That make that 3. Right after the 3 board there, gets on the brakes through Canada corner. He doesn't have to push it too hard. We're already up to 5 minutes of our qualifying time. And the tires squealing as he just pushes through that turn. Not a great sector 5 there, but he just keeps it on track and keeps it going, which is most important. He's going to be first across the line because he seems to always be first out of the pits. Make it happen ASAP. But he is first across the line. Jedediah Babinek, though, immediately is going to take that away from him by just a few 100s. Kelly Greenhoe into 3rd place with a 2:34.5. Brian Lemke followed by Kenny Teal. Let's get some full names out there so I'm not guessing too much. Brian Lemke followed by Ken Kruger, Kenny Teal, Russell Elizondo, Benjamin Syke, Mark Bray, and Dan Fendick. So we have 11 drivers. Make it 12 on the grid so far. Andre Garcia up to 3rd place, but he's still about half a second off of these guys. Sorry, we're still on board with Kevin through that first section again. We've got 3 other drivers on track, though, who have not set a lap. Samuel Close, welcome Samuel, is driving the older class, the 2010 class. Greg Ream owes us a lap, as does Andrew Durkis, who's coming down to T5 at the moment. Oh, never mind. And we have both of the other points leaders for the old class that have just been battling neck and neck. Been giving on a great display in Donovan Smith and Elliot Gorberg, who's wrapping up a lap at the moment. Brian Lemke is off track in 5th, and that's not what you need at all. Kent Kruger is not having the lap times he's going to need. We have 7 minutes on the board. So I believe 2 laps is all anybody's going to be able to do. Kenny's having some good sectors here. Jedediah has it by about 2 100s at the moment. Kevin is not really setting the sector times he's going to need. And Kelly is just cruising right along. He might have the insight to T1 on Andre Garcia here. But I don't think he's going to sneak up to the front row. His first lap being nearly 7/10 off of it. And he does get the inside on Andre. It doesn't appear he's going to go any faster. Craig does come across the line. He puts himself onto row 3. Kenny Teal does end up setting a better time himself. He's going to have the inside there. Ken Kruger is down to 8th position as he climbs the hill. Kevin Sandiego has had an off track. He's not able to go any faster anyways. He's up to 8th, or retaining 8th there. Andre cannot go any faster. Andrew Durkis does set a lap time. It's good for the top 10. We have a minute and a half left to go. Is anybody else going to be able to complete one? Elliot Gorberg is on the board, but Donovan's lap was not clean. I don't know if he's going to have enough time to complete that one. Here comes Samuel, and it's going to be a not clean lap, it looks like, for him. Just getting the hang of the track. There's so many places to go wrong. It's so high speed around here. As we see Darren Dean flying around the kink. And that's going to do it for qualifying here for the MX-5s at Road America. Let's run down that grid real quick. It was Jedediah just taking away pole position from Kevin Sandiego there. On row 2, it's Kelly Greenhoe just ahead of Andre Garcia, followed by Craig Ream and Kenny Teal, Brian Lemke, Kent Kruger, Andrew Garcia, Andrew Durkis, what am I talking about, and Steve Capet. Welcome back, Steve. Russell Elizondo in 11th, followed by Benjamin Syke, Mark Brave, Dan Fendick, Jordan Johnson, Brandon Piper, Richard Swindels. And we got a bunch of guys, actually, that did not join us for qualifying. A fair bit of them, actually, we heard had some pit lane starts. So there's that. And, of course, last week's winners will be starting from the back. Now, if you're as bored as I am, make sure you smash that thumbs down button. You got nothing better to do. You know the drill. I'll tell you what, it is good to have such competition up at the front. I imagine it should be a good fight for those two, as it's very, very difficult to get away in the Miatas. And Kelly and Andre pretty evenly matched on pace there. And we're just about ready to get rolling here, folks. All eyes on Jedi at the front of the stack. Creeping along, waiting for that green light, and we're ready to go. And now, everyone is stacked up bumper to bumper. This is going to be a killer run down to T1. A little bump drafting on the back of by Kenny Teal there. Maybe on the rear end, Andre into third already. He's followed through by Kenny there. It was Craig trying the bump draft, and it looks like Kevin has gotten the jump on Jedediah and is pulled out in the lead. And so it's Andre Garcia from Kelly Greenhill behind them. Kenny Teal, Craig, then Kent Kruger. Brian Lemke losing out a spot to Kent. And Kent on the rear end of Craig. Are we going to see some more revenge of the admin on admin crime? And everybody seems to get through smoothly. Kelly fighting for third place, doing a little strange switchback there. Andre retains it for the time being there. Steve Cabet losing one to Benjamin Syke here, who's gotten 2 positions up already. Brandon Bachman having a good race, making up 5. Here we go through the kink for the first time. Such a long lap out here. We're going to see what we can do on the back straight. Jedediah almost getting out of it. Maybe even some bump drafting going on back here. Trying to get away from the rest of the pack. Oh, Jedediah dips a tire. It looked like he was going to lose it and take out Kevin and while he was at it. Meanwhile, Andre has gathered it up to get on Jedi's bumper. Maybe bump draft him back up to Kevin. Here, Russell Elizondo side by side with Brandon Bachman, who's just storming through the field, is going to make up 6 positions from the get-go. I think he had to start from the back because he won last week's. That's why he is so pacey out there. Benjamin Syke on the back end of Andrew Durkis at the moment. He's pulled out to the side, coming up on long side. And he's probably going to get that one done down the straights. Kenny Teal under pressure from Craig Green behind. Craig goes around the outside, holding firm at the moment. Kevin San Diego still under pressure. The top 4 have pulled away a little bit from Kenny and Craig. And it's all neck and neck for the top 3 here. Beautiful shot there as they storm down the first of the back straights. Anyways, there's so many straights here. They're going 3 wide into the heavens. No, don't give me that. Oh. And 3 wide into T5. And Jedediah is almost just about going to retake that lead. Kevin is fighting him so hard through there. Side by side still. Andre is waiting to pick up the pieces as these 2 are battling away just in front of him. A killer shot here from Andre. I thought these long straights were really going to bring everybody together like a picnic table. Oh my God. And you can see there, Kevin just able to get on the throttle a little bit sooner, taking a different line through that carousel. And it's probably going to keep him safe perhaps through the rest of this straight here. Oh, and Andre chucking it to the inside. Jedediah is going to have to give that one up. Very good on the brakes, Andre usually is. and proving it there again with a very aggressive move. He will make one if he is close enough, because it usually pans out for him as it just did. Jedediah also very cautious to not dip a wheel going into Canada Corner like he did on the first lap. We're already 5 minutes in. We're only 2 laps down. It's such a long track here. It's almost like Le Mans with these long straights as Brian Lemke trying to get this spot back from Ken Kruger as they were. He takes to the inside. Oh my gosh, and add a T1. They're somehow keeping it all together. Jedediah thinks, hey, I can do that move too. And Andre tries to squeeze him to the inside of that apex, even still. And they've just compromised themselves as Kelly Greenhoe is now coming alongside Jedediah and actually getting out of the move and knowing it's a long race. And these guys are battling so hard, they're probably just going to give it to him at some point. Just like right now. Oh, heavens. And oh, Andre. Or sorry, no, that was Jedediah back there who was got all turned around and rammed into by Kelly. There was nowhere to go. As that's probably what I would have ended up doing, and that's just allowed Kevin Sandiego to run away with the lead and make it 1.1 seconds back to Andre Garcia, which is going to make it just too difficult probably for anybody to get in the slipstream. As I say that, Andre makes up a couple tenths here and might get back into the draft and keep the fight alive. And now there isn't actually a second gap between anybody's intervals, down to about 12th place when Russell Elizondo comes in. Oh, Elliot Gorberg having an off track and losing the lead of that class as there goes the two other cars in his class buzzing by. But yeah, really close racing here, as you can see on the intervals. Everybody's sort of tucked up together here in one long train. Down to about 11th. Oh, there's Brandon Bachman saying, I don't want to be at the back of the train any longer. Oh! And almost taking out Steve on his return to the league. Something terrible has ended up happening to Kelly Greenhoe as he's dropped back even further, quite far ways to 9th. Steve and Brandon are still at it here. I don't blame them if the elbows come out here, as they should. They shouldn't have any of those inside mirrors left at all. Good close racing from those guys coming down this second straight. We're just going to call it the second straight. I forget what it's called. Nothing too crazy going on under braking. Oh, except for that move there. As Benjamin Syke and is that Andrew Durkis getting in a little squabble, let's say, a quarrel. Lovely draft around here has allowed Andre to get back on the bumper for the lead and close up. Just fabulous racing, as long as we don't get too aggressive out here. Andre not even going for it at the moment. On board with Brandon Bachman, still trying to get that place from Stephen Koubet and make it stick. And Steve off track there. Let's watch exactly what happened. It was just of his own doing. He needed to use a little bit more of the chubby pedal. There's Ken Kruger pretty much pushing Kenny Teal down the straight. Side by side for the lead into T1 at the end of lap 4, beginning of lap 5. Still neck and neck. We have 10 minutes down, as is the script here at Road America. On board with Craig Ream. Currently riding in 5th, giving, oh, and no, it happened again. Oh, no. This admin on admin crime cannot stand. Oh, heavens. And Kelly, for some weird reason, saw what happened and thought, hey, I want that guy behind me. The battle for the older class, though, is still buzzing on as Samuel is still not letting Donovan breathe for a second this race. You can see Elliott in the background there. We see Ken Kruger get moving, and now he's in an equally thick pack in the low teens here. Coming down the back straight again. And Andre really wants to lead so he can burn off some fuel for some weird reason. I don't know. He really wanted to get that move done. I don't think he's gonna retain it, but for a few laps, if at all. Oh, and looked like Mark Bray following Ken Kruger through there. And Darren Dean perhaps on Dan Fendick. What a terrible corner that was for him as he lost 3 positions in a row. Richard Swindell, starting from the pit lane, is out on track, trying to make it more than one position made up. We just can't seem to sort Russell Elizondo down in 15th place. Maybe on the straights he will get that draft. Andre actually able to put a half a second between himself and Kevin. Through T1, let's see how they do on the straights. And Troy Banks trying to make his way through as well. He also started from the pits. Samuel getting so close. Ha 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 ha. Oh goodness, Kenny Teal even having, oh, what's happened to Kevin San Diego is forced off the track. He's gonna lose a boatload as everybody's so tight, and he just keeps it out of the wall. He's falling down, losing positions. Andrew Durkis is gonna make it down to 8th. And he's got Brandon Bachman, who is quite quick right on his bumper. We're lucky to keep him at bay before this next turn. Let's see what happened there as Kenny Teal also ended up having an off track of his own. Oh, and Kenny just not leaving him enough room, to be honest, at all. That's a tricky one. Kenny Teal must have gone off track too. Kevin, a little frustrated, trying to get back on the power, obviously. And so actually, it's neither Kevin nor Jedediah who are going to win this race. It's Andre Garcia up top at the moment. Kelly Greenhoe is limping around a wounded Yoshi machine. Craig Ream up to third place. Benjamin Syke having an excellent race, up 7 himself. But the field has started to break up slightly into more manageable pockets for me anyways. And Dan Fendick's race getting a little bit worse as he's going to lose position here, looks like, to Richard. Especially if Troy Banks gets to bump drafting behind him, he could really push them both through on this straight if he wanted to get up there and start pushing on Richard. And now the second row becomes the first row. Looks like Troy Banks and Richard have made their way through. Russell Elizondo even challenging Dan Fendick at the moment, so bummer race. It's when it's just raining. It's been pouring for Dan. So he just lost all those positions in Canada corner going around the outside. He got a real awkward exit. I tell you what, I think Kent is going to be extra pissed if Kelly and Andre take each other out and Craig wins this race. can see there is all these cars all the way back to Andrew Durkis here, waiting to punish these guys if they have any off track whatsoever, any sort of issue at all. Craig Ream even looking for a way through on the inside, trying to make up some positions. Andre getting a little loose there. Brian Lemke getting interested in a podium today. It's so nice when we have such a large grid. Currently 22 drivers with us here today actually have raced, so put nicely. Ooh, Craig Ream getting through to the inside, challenging Kelly. Kenny trying to get a podium on the inside of Andre Garcia as he slips down to 4th. But yeah, I don't know. It's nice to have some people pick up the pieces sometimes. Have a nice big grid. Lots of hungry sharks in the wings. Troy Banks is staying with Richard. They've moved up quite a few positions. Has been taken out by Kelly to the inside. That's going to be a bummer for him, but at least his nemesis is going to find him at Canada Corner and pass him, so he'll get to take him out one more time potentially. So good for Craig. And Kenny Teal has inherited the earth. Goodness gracious, what has happened? Kenny has no idea what has happened. Let's take a look at what went on there. Right after we see some of this 3-wide racing pretty much on the back straight. Hey, guess who? Kevin San Diego's been able to catch this pack back up as they keep screwing around. And he's back in content. He's like 2 seconds off of the lead. Incredible. As Kelly dives to the inside there. That's going to be a big old bummer for Kelly. That's going to hurt in the morning. Oh, he's looking in his rearview mirror. He's trying to defend. He completely misses his braking marker and has nowhere to go but on the inside right into Craig. Oh my gosh, is that Andre Garcia? Turned around. Oh my God, what's going on here? As he's down to the inside of T5, gets on the brakes. Seems all good to go. Oh, he just takes too much of that curbing on the inside. He sort of does well to get out of the way of the whole pack, in a sense. Troy Banks losing ground somewhere. Is he trying to get by Richard Swindell's there and way too late on the brakes? Kelly Greenhow now even with a even worse looking front bumper. Now has good old Kevin San Diego behind him. Oh no, it was actually Kenny Teal. With that shove to Kevin out on the grass that put him out. So revenge. Brandon Bachman with an off track, but he's at the very back of this little pack here. And Kevin getting a little wide there for no reason, trying to push these guys, and loses a place to Benjamin Syke out of nothing. But they're just so packed in there like sardines, but he wanted to get close to them, I guess, for the tow down the straights. Didn't work out. And Kelly is into the lead. Kenny is down to second. Kevin is at least back up to third. Maybe. Getting a little out of shape on the braking at the back. 27 minutes down. These tires have got to start having some effects there. Kevin up to second. I mean, killer drive from him. Kevin has taken the lead back. Brandon Bachman is up to fourth. And Kenny Teal is not going to push Kevin off at the same corner again. Steve really trying to get that spot back from Andre. Benjamin Syke proving to be a tricky customer for Brandon as he is currently up 13 positions. Last week's winner trying to get back up to a podium position for this race. But he's got to clear Benjamin first and just defend, as this last 10 minutes might just be a shootout as these guys are just swapping places. Seemingly for no reason. I have no idea who's going to win this race. Although Kevin Sandiego is looking like a strong favorite at the moment. And And I think Kenny might feel bad about earlier, so he probably won't try to make too aggressive a move if possible. He's doing a lot more defense to Kenny Teal at the moment as Kevin's able to put nearly a second between him and second place Kenny. Still nothing separating Steve and Andre in these late stages. Andre from the second row, I mean, I think Steve might have been on the third or fourth, so not a great deal between them, but you would think Andre might be able to make that move stick. Doesn't appear so with 10 minutes to go at all. Kenny with a bad exit from the final corner. It's going to put him under pressure already going up the hill towards the line. And Kelly's already got that position and a little bit of speed and the inside line. And wow, Kenny able to use the small amount of draft from Kevin, 1.2 seconds up the road, was enough to drag him back. I was watching the interval the whole time and just being like, how is he getting some speed back? And I also think Kelly's busted bumper, probably with his very, very top speed, is not helping whatsoever. Putting himself under all sorts of pressure. Brandon Bachman having a lot of work to do, seemingly, to get that podium. Russell is sticking with Troy. Really tried to make a move as of yet. Richard Swindell has been able to get away. He's now 2.7 up the road. You just see the two of them appearing in the background there. And poor old Craig Ream down here in 11th. Must have, he did go to the pits. a little bit of contact, and I think it's just a 17X will do it. Oh, what was going on up there? I missed the car going off track. It looked like some gravel being thrown up. Kenny fighting hard for that spot. Kevin's been able to boogie down the road, and so the draft no longer an issue. It's making 3 seconds down the road for Kevin, so not going to come into effect this time. Kenny holds on for a minute. And it will be a close call. We will have one more race lap after this one. So everybody just needs to hold tight and make sure the gloves don't come off quite yet. Oh, we are primed for some a couple little packs here, primed for a good fight, let's say. Kevin San Diego now making it 4 seconds down the road. That just tells you what effect that draft has, and also what effect just battling in a pack will have on your ability, or just your lap times, just your ability to put in consistent good lap times. And I think Kelly will count the minutes and might not go for it at the moment. He is going to go for it this lap. And Brandon Bachman and Benjamin Syke going side by side. They know they have one more minute to race here. Kelly is going to be kept in that draft by Kenny Teal. Oh, goodness. Benjamin having all sorts of speed out there, even challenging for the podium. Or sorry, he is into the podium, into third place, but challenging for second place. Kelly now down a spot. Andre's going to keep it. And now here comes Kent Kruger down to T2. He's going to slip in there. Steve going to try to get that slipstream and cutback. Kelly diving down to the inside, real loose under braking. Everyone going real wide as fast as they can. Benjamin's going to hold on to that position. Here comes Brandon Bachman. Here comes Kelly steaming back to the inside, just cutting him off, not letting it happen. Brandon wants to keep a bumper in there at least. As it's all taking off on the final lap now. And it's going to be a drag race down the straights between Benjamin Syke is pulling ahead, just ahead of Kenny Teal at the death on the pit straight. Beautifully done. Here is Kent Kruger trying to do the same on Steve just behind him. But it's not going to be enough for a dramatic finish. Here comes Mark Bray just a hair ahead of Richard Swindells, who finishes a valiant 12th anyways, followed by Troy Banks there. But Benjamin Syke having a great race there, up 10 spots to grab second right at the death. Killer race there. Kenny Teal not bad himself, moving up 3 and finishing in the podium. Kevin picking the spot on the back straight. What a race that was. A fun one indeed. And a couple extra guys photo bombing in the back. Kenny looked a little upset. He was off track ASAP after that one. He put up a good fight for as long as possible, but it really was just generally a shootout out there. Running down those race results, we saw Kevin Sandiego, Benjamin Syke, and Kenny Teal taking the podium out there. Oh, sure, computer. Let's do the old and slows first. Donovan Smith won today's race. He was followed by Samuel Close and Elliot Gorberg, 17 seconds behind in third. New and fast, guys, it was Kevin Sandiego and Benjamin Syke and Kenny Teal making up the podium there. Then they were followed very closely by Kelly Greenhoe, Brandon Bachman, Brian Lemke, Andrew Durkis, Andre Garcia, Steve Coubet, and Kent Kruger just squeezing in the top 10 there. Mark Bray was followed by Richard Swindells, Troy Banks, Russell Elizondo, Dan Vendick, Craig Ream is the last car out there. Let's run down our podium at the moment, or sorry, not podium, our points standings, that P word. Andre Garcia moves up to first in the standings. Robbie Campbell wasn't with us today, but he really was rooting for Richard Swindells, fellow Canadian out there. Although, let's see. Oh, he is. Wow, there is no other Canadians. I was about to say in the top 10 anywhere. Goodness, top 20 here. There are only ones out there. And then Kelly Greenhoe stayed in third. Brandon Bachman, Brian Lemke having a good race. Richard Swindells moving down a few. Kevin Sandiego starting to take over this championship a little bit, since moving over a little bit further down the standings. Kenny Teal showing up, picking up points big time, moving him up the standings, approaching the top 10. As always, I encourage everyone to make sure that they smash that thumbs down button. Hit the bell an even number of times. We're going to be right back here on Tuesday and Thursday for the Ferraris and Supercars. Make sure you join us for that. We will see you then. Take it easy, everybody.